Not for you?
No, it is.
It's just you.
This is why you're echoing now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you say yes? I'm sorry, I can't hear them. Anyway, we did it with the stunt guy, where they hung him from a harness and took him up to the top of the soundstage, which was a little bit higher than this, probably. And then they dropped him, and it looked great. And Jonathan said, I think we really need you to do it, because you can tell it's a stuntman. Well, I'm terrified of heights. I mean, seriously terrified of heights. I don't even like to stand up. Sitting is a challenge. I prefer to lay down. But so I said, all right, I'll do it. And they hung me up. They put me in this harness, and they started to take me up. They said, we're going to take you up 5 feet, just so you can see what that feels like. And then we'll take you up 20 feet, so you can feel what that feels like. And if you're okay, we'll take you all the rest of the way, and then we'll drop you. And this hydraulic thing happened just before you hit the ground, where it slowed down like an elevator. So I said, okay. And they put me in the harness, and they took me up 5 feet, and I was terrified. 5 feet off the ground. If they had dropped me, then nothing would have happened. But I was still, I don't like heights. So there I was, and they said, okay, how's that? And I said, okay. And they said, all right, we're going to take you up 20 feet now. And I said, no, don't even do that. Just take me all the way up and drop me, and let's get this over with. So they said, okay. And they took me all the way to the ceiling, and I was in the air spinning from this line. And a guy, there were catwalks all the way around, and a guy got on one of the catwalks with a pole, and straightened me out. And when I was finally straight, Jonathan said, all right, on action, I want you to drop it. And I said, okay, we're rolling, we have speed. He goes, and action. And they dropped me, and the hydraulic hit, and I came down. I tried to be as cool as I possibly could. And it all worked great, and the crew applauded, and I won the respect of the stunt guys who thought, this is a man. And Jonathan said, you know what, something went wrong, we got to do it again. And we did it again. And I would not have done that for anyone but Jonathan. If you see this film, and in that moment, in First Contact, when you see me jump, I want you to slow down the film, go to slow motion, and you can see it's my face as we come down. I really did that stunt. And I hope you're all saying to yourselves right now, this is a man. Thank you very much. What was your question?
I would like to add, though, Brent, whenever you hear people talk about being put in scenes that really do get their fears, they get to use that because they're supposed to be terrified if they're buried alive or whatever, but you're not supposed to have emotion while they are basically scaring the heck out of you.
This. Jonathan directed another film that we did called Insurrection. Fine piece of cinema. And there was a moment in that where he needed me to walk into a lake very slowly until I was underwater. And we were shooting this in May in Lake Arrowhead. No, it was in Mammoth Lake, way up in the Sierras, and there was snow all the way around the bank of the lake. So the lake was basically made up of melted snow. And it was, they said it was 40-degree water. And they needed me to walk into it as if nothing was happening. And my stuntman did it first, and it looked great. And Jonathan said, you know, I think we really need you to do this. So I walked into the lake very, very slowly, till I was completely under. I did it one time, he didn't ask me to do it again. I won the respect of the crew. And when you see that film today, by the way, Insurrection, pay particular attention to that moment because they used the clip of my stuntman. I'm absolutely serious. I saw the movie and I went, that's not me. Why did I have to go into that water? Jonathan! Anyway.
You know, if you were here in the panel a couple days ago, Jonathan whines because he had to have some Metamucil on his body, and he claims he was the most abused on the show. I don't know what this was about, but I think you have a beat.
I think so. I mean, Jonathan always had Metamucil on his body. Or at least in his body.
So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I've noticed at all the panels I've been at that people are asked to come up and ask questions, and there's long lines, and they never get to ask their questions. So I would love to have people come up now, so to make sure that anybody that wants to ask a question gets a chance to ask a question. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. And because, you know, frankly, we're all sick of listening to BJ, aren't we? Somebody said we love you, BJ?
That was me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? That could be wrong. It's never happened before, but it could happen.
I would appreciate if you tweet that to offset the other comments. So what's your name and your question for Brent?
Hey, I'm Mike. I just wanted to say that I saw you twice on Broadway during 1776, and you have a fantastic voice, singing voice. I don't know if you all know that. You can do any right now if you want to, but I was wondering if they ever remade that movie, would you consider doing John Adams again on film? And if not, what play would you do on film if they asked you to do like a classic play?
Oh, I would have to say no to everything. You know what? I would do any play, classic play on film if they asked me to.
What about 1776 if they remade that?
Well, you know what? I think I might be, and I hesitate to say this, too old for the part now. I've said that about another part, you might remember, but I think John Adams was 48 years old, I think, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, and so I think I'm a little long in the tooth for it now. But I could play one of the old guys in it. Would that be okay? Oh, only John Adams. All right, well, that's a great part. I was really thrilled to be able to do it.
You know, Brent, I couldn't help but notice that he brought up the fact that you have a great singing voice, and I'm wondering if there's any chance we could get copies of... Is there a way I could take something with me, have it forever, if I choose?
Well, let me say this. Nobody's putting this on their cameras, are they, right now? Because I'm not going to see this on YouTube, am I?
These people really aren't tech savvy.
You're such liars. You know what? I can't really... my voice isn't really up to snuff right now, but can we roll it? We'll roll the...
Tiny little
But wonder if I wanted more, perhaps something to play in my car, maybe just if I wanted to set the mood, if I wanted a night of romance, anything I can get. Is there a place I can go to get more of that to, well, satisfy whatever I want to?
I don't know. Are you familiar with my CD, Dreamland? Do you know about my CD, Dreamland? Woo! How many of you didn't even know I did that? Woo! See, you know what? It's been out for over 2 years and it hasn't gotten to you yet. Go to my website, therealbrentspiner.com. Therealbrentspiner.com. And order my CD, Dreamland. I know you really like it. And the reason my website's called therealbrentspiner.com is because, and this is the absolute truth, someone else owns brentspiner.com. And we tried to get it from him, but he wanted, I don't know, could I get him an original pair of Spock ears or something? So So I had to be therealbrentspiner.com. So go there, check out my CD, Dreamland. On Amazon too. Okay.
Right over here, what's your name and your question?
Hey, my name is Caitlin.
Caitlin, hi. We've met, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to ask...
Was it Phoenix? By the time I get to Phoenix, I'll be Caitlin. No, you are Caitlin, right? Go ahead, Caitlin.
Okay, I wanted to ask a question about what it was like, both technically and as an actor who had been playing an android for a really long time,
yes,
to play opposite yourself as like Lore or Dr. Soong.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you, and I have said this before, but it's absolutely true. It bears repeating. I love doing that because it gave me the opportunity to work with my favorite actor. So the difficulties were none compared to the thrill.
And that's a wrong that should be right, because people always ask you what it's like to work with all of these great actors, never once bringing up Brent Spiner.
Well, exactly. You know, it was like sliding down a rainbow.
Which brings up a Twitter question.
A Twitter question?
They would like to know where to buy this wonderful pool you swim in. Where can one be purchased?
It cannot be purchased. It is only in my mind.
Over
But
here.
you may swim along with me in my mind if you like.